job. They had,
Yeah.
The silver bass would come in mobs sometimes, and you'd catch a billion of them, and they smoked up nicely.
Yeah. Now, I hear Loriann talking about doing barbecue and smoking and all this kind of stuff. Is there a difference between the two?
What's a fine line? You had said that there is a difference.
When you smoke in like the smoker that we have, of course, with the barbecue, you're going to cook it a lot faster, and it's a much slower smoking with what we do as opposed to the barbecue. I think that's the difference. Is it's a much longer process.
Smoking is longer.
Oh yes, it does take a lot longer to smoke a product than it does to barbecue
But you
a product.
do put barbecue sauce on a lot of things you smoke, right?
Yes, I do.
So there's
Yes.
kind of crossover there, caller. You don't understand that any more than I do, probably. Well, thank you for the call.
And you get much more a smoky flavor, of course, with the smoking, as opposed to barbecue. You're going to get the not so much smoking flavor as you do when you use a smoker like what we have.
Smoking is much flavorful.
Yes.
You smoke it longer, right? You smoke something 2 days, right?
Yes, we do.
The ribs?
Yeah.
I can't believe it. You hear that, caller?
Yeah, it takes anywhere between...
that's quite a fair amount of time.
Yeah, it is.
So apparently, smoking is more for preserving than it is for.
It is. That's how it started out. As a matter of fact, the Eskimos and a lot of other people had huge periods of time when they caught zillions of fish, like the salmon run, but they had to preserve it for the winter, and that's how they preserved it. You can actually, if you smoke I've had a smoked fish sitting in my refrigerator for 3 months. And on the outside of the skin, sometimes you get a little bit of mold, but you take the skin right off, it's just fresh and sweet as it could be inside. Apparently, the bacteria can't get through that smoke and the sealing. It seals the skin right on and all the things around it.
It's somewhat of a preservative.
There you go, caller. Thanks a lot.
All right, thank you.
I'll send
Have a great day.
I'll give you some $5 tickets to that wonderful little restaurant at the foot of the hill, the Lakeview. And it also is Valentino's. They have a fish, speaking of fish, they have a fish restaurant next door to the Lakeview. And they have all the crab you can eat for nothing, just about. It's quite a place. I'll get on my tie. They keep telling me my tie's crooked. All right, now, how are we doing now? Okay. We're with a person who knows smoking, Lorianneritter. It's her business, her life, she dreams about smoking. She has a huge smoker on Route 20 at McKinley in Westfield, which you can't miss. It looks like a locomotive from the New York Central Railroad sitting out there.
Children love to come and look at it. They think it's a train. They think that they're coming in to look at the train. See the train?
You ought to put a whistle on it.
Not a bad idea.
We got another phone call. Good morning, caller. Thank you for waiting. Hi. Hi.
Hi. I would like to know, does she smoke fresh ham?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear that.
You smoke
Fresh ham.
You smoke ham?
Actually, I do not smoke ham. No, I don't. I'm sorry. Maybe it's something we might try to delve into.
Well, you can buy it all smoked. That's the thing, and it's pretty well smoked properly. Where do you live, caller? Bye-bye. Thanks for the call, madam. If you send me a stamped self-addressed envelope, I'll send you $5. Yeah, $5 gift certificate for the Lakeview. Hey, Lakeview has this fish. They have a fish fry there that kills.
Yeah.
It flops over your plate on both sides, and it's crispy as could be, and tender and sweet inside. It's impossible just about to buy fish in a restaurant because they overcook. Always overcook.
It's very important not to overcook fish.
Yeah, it's got to be sweet and soft and tender in the middle, and it should be crispy on the outside. And to do both those things is quite a balancing act, and it's a trick. But they do it over at the Lakeview. They also have, incidentally, they do their roast prime ribs all day long, and they have them on usually weekend. And I always get an end cut because you get more. I'm not quite as fussy about it being rare as having lots of good tender meat. The tender meat and the end cut, oh boy.
A good rare cut of prime rib is delicious, especially when you smoke it.
Yeah.
So that's what we'd like to introduce for the fall. If we can stay open, is we'd like to introduce some smoked prime rib. smoked London broil, and some New York strip. Also, we're going to introduce the fish as well.
Great, sounds terrific. Well, everybody in the area smokes something. It might be a little thin cigarette even, but we all do some smoking and barbecuing or mixing the smoking and and of course, more popularly now, these smokers have been coming out. Everybody's buying those. Everybody's bought a barbecue, so the barbecue company said, well, how are we going to keep our business going here? Well, let's put out smokers. So now everybody's buying smokers. How well do they work?
It works quite well. I
Do
tell
they?
you, it brings in a lot of business for us. It does. Like I said, people will drive on by. They hadn't heard of the place yet. Drive on by and see the smoker and turn around and come back and...
See, they compare it to their own smoker, correct?
They do, yep. They ask for tours. You know, can you show me the smoker? Which I have no problem doing. If you want to see what it looks like or whatever, I'd be happy to show you how it works and what we do with it and, you know, where we put the meats and all of that.
Yeah, I really think you ought to put a whistle on the thing, like a locomotive, so you can go, woo!
You bring me a whistle, Reed, I'll put it on there.
I have a whole collection of locomotive whistles. Talking to Lori Ann Ritter, runs a smokehouse, a smoke place, a smoke restaurant. It used to be Eldwell's Tasty Freeze, and she still sells, I noticed as I was wandering around there, ice cream.
Of course
You have
we have.
tons of Perry's ice cream, apparently.
Yeah, we have about 30 different flavors.
30 different flavors. Where do you keep all those different flavors?
Oh, right out in the ice cream parlor.
Huh, wow.
We do sundaes. I make a whole bunch of different pies. You name a pie, I can pretty much make it for you.
You're
Pies made to order.
Okay, you're competing with pies down on Porter Street. Too, you know, old friends of mine, too.
Well, I've heard her pies are very good.
They are,
Yeah.
they are. Tell me something. Whatever got you into smoking? You said you had been away for 18 years or something.
Right. Well, I've always just enjoyed being in the restaurant business, and my passion was actually baking. And when I moved back to Westfield, this place was available, and I sat down and spoke with the owner of the building, and we worked out on a, you know, quite a friendly arrangement. He's a wonderful man, and so I was just very lucky when I got this place. Like I said, I've smoked before in the past, but never in the capacity of this huge smoker that we have working right now. It's an amazing machine and does a lot. It does a lot with the meats and everything. The flavor is delicious.
Tell me, where do you get your cherry? You said you get it locally.
I do get it locally. I try to get a lot of things locally, yes.
And cherry is your favorite type of...
It's definitely the type of wood that I like to use. Mike was the one that figured that out, and so we've stuck with it, and it works quite well, and we're going to stick right with the cherry.
Well, very passionate people also use hickory, and a lot of people don't realize that hickory is a sort of generic name for a whole bunch of trees. Black walnut is a hickory. The white walnut, which is better known as the butternut, is a hickory. And of course, hickory is a hickory, and you have all kinds of different. Pecan, believe it or not, is a hickory. It's a walnut. You go down and cut some pecan trees around here. Where? That's a southern tree, folks. But you have the regular walnut too. They have around here. You have all kinds of walnuts, walnut trees. So any one of those works fine. You go down, pick a limb up, and break it up, and you can smoke with it. And you toss. You can use your regular barbecue, friends, as a smoker, without going out and buying a specific animal. It will. Smokes it up a little bit, but it doesn't bother me. I just do my regular stuff on the barbecue, and it tastes all the better, you know. But what you do is, if you want to smoke on your regular barbecue, I'm talking about the kind that has a top that folds up and folds back down. You could use any other one too. But what you do is you take some charcoal lumps, and you know who invented charcoal briquettes?
I do not.
Henry Ford. He used to make cars which had wood in them. You know, remember the old beautiful wagons that had beautiful wood in them? And he had all this wood left over, little pieces. He didn't know what to do with it. So he decided to grind it all up. And he mixed it with gravel, which I do today. Half the weight, most of the weight of your briquette is stone.
Oh, wow, I didn't know
Mix
that.
it, glue it together, and that's where the first briquettes came from. At any rate, you put a few briquettes on, get them going, maybe a dozen or two, depending on the size, and then you push them once they're burning way to the back of your barbecue. You don't want the heat right under what you're smoking.
No, you don't.
So you put it way to the back. Take some wood, whatever your favorite wood is, apple, maple, cherry, hickory, and you put a few pieces on. You might wet them first, but that's you're gonna shut down the air pretty well. And then you put your meats on in the front so that they're not over the heat. And when the wood's smoking, you take the lid and turn it way down. Just prop it open maybe an inch or so. It'll keep it going,
right.
And it smokes very slowly, and it'll just waft all, and you smoke it for hours. You can smoke it for as long as you want.
And hours.
Low and slow, as they tell you.
Yep. Yeah, you
Okay.
definitely don't want that meat right near the flame. You're going to burn the bottoms of
Yeah.
your meat and dry it out, and
Yeah.
that's not good.
Not good.
No.
We got another couple of callers. You want to take a call?
Sure.
Okay, good morning, caller. Thank you for
Good
waiting.
morning, this beautiful, beautiful day, which I hope doesn't get any hotter than it is already.
It was 90-something yesterday.
Oh,
Wow.
I know, it's supposed to be, we might either tie or break a record, according to Buffalo.
Ooh.
No, I don't like that. Okay, I guess you were almost kind of going where I was going with the slow. That is the secret. And
Well, how do you know? Do you smoke?
no, but I have a friend that has made a career practically of smoking.
Okay.
And she had the kind of smoker that the smoke was over to the side, the wood thing was over to the side, and then your wood wasn't ever directly over the fire.
You can't put your meats over the fire, as we pointed out, otherwise they just
Right.
burn right up.
And she used to smoke turkeys. They're absolutely delicious, out of this world.
Yeah, well, I was talking about smoking turkeys. I used to smoke them myself, but they're a little bit dry the way I did, and Lorianne pointed out, well, what you do is you wrap them in aluminum foil for a while, and that'll keep the moisture in, and then you give it the final works outside.
The best smoked turkey I ever had in my life came about from a Thanksgiving that a couple of the men got a little out of hand, and we're having quite a good time.
Yeah?
And the dinner was over, and we always cooked extra drumsticks. And we had extra drumsticks, so they had a fireplace, and they put some hickory wood in the fireplace, and then they didn't light it yet. I get ahead of myself. I don't remember if they lit it or not, doesn't matter. So the two men went up on the roof, and with ropes, they lowered these drumsticks into the fireplace.
They were out of hand, you're quite correct.
And they left them there for about 3 hours,
Uh-huh.
and they didn't dry out. I was really surprised. And they were really, really good, and they were smoky and really good.
Well, I would not recommend that, but
No.
back when I was a kid, we used to clean the chimney with a chicken. You'd take a chicken and lower it down, upside down on a rope, and it would flop around and everything, knock all the soot and ashes off.
Sounds like a good idea.
So there's a whole bird. Maybe you could put a turkey down and it would do a better job.
Well, this turkey was demised. But it was really well smoked and really, really good.
Well,
and in only about 3 hours.
Uh-huh. Well, that's smoking, of course, enhances the flavor for some people. Now, when I buy a smoked fish, many people have a part of the fish they like better. Some people like the sweet, less smoky meat that's in the back. And so they'll cut one in half and they'll take the back half. Well, I like the heavily smoked rib meat and the head meat and all the wonderful other parts up in the front and the fins that go with it. And so I'll take the front. And we get along fine. The more people I notice like the back than they do the front, because there are usually a couple of fronts left over.
They don't want to eat the eyeballs.
Well, also, they don't want to pay for the head and the fins and all the other stuff. Incidentally, the head of a smoked fish, a lot of people miss this. It has, as any fish does, and even most animals, it has a nice chunk of meat right in the jaw. And you peel that off, and there's the sweetest little piece of meat, heavily smoked inside, again in the head on each side, the cheek they call it. And like the pig has cheeks, they actually they save cheeks from pigs, and that's a very delicate piece of meat, lovely piece of meat.
Well, smoking is definitely a good way to enjoy your meat in a different way.
Yeah.
Plus, it'll last longer after you get it smoked.
Yes,
Well, as I pointed out, I've had smoked fish in my refrigerator for 3 months. And the reason they smoked it originally is because the bacteria couldn't get in. And the preservative